out of this one? And then, more importantly, how did you bounce back?
Have I failed in something? Yes. Yes. And before I came to Mobinil, I was in charge of a merge after an acquisition we did in a company in the US. And we had to split one segment because we were interested in online digital information only in one segment. This company was part of the Macmillan Group, Robert Maxwell.
Yeah.
And after the accident of Mr. Maxwell, they were selling because of the story of the pension funds in the
Yes,
US.
I remember, yes.
That was to be sold. And this was as well a learning, the human factor. When you say, okay, we will, then we can get, lay off 70 people, get this company, make it on paper, on slides, consultants come. This is something. When you go, you make the interviews. I make in 1 week something like 48 interviews, interviewing people that were good people, sitting in front of you, looking you in the eyes. I like this company. I've been here. My kids are happy in Virginia. We have a life. And I would like to convince you that I need to be in this job. And I was hoping that somehow through a plan of, expanding the business we could keep all these people, or at least most of them. And I failed in that, and we had really to lay off something like 60 people. And that is a painful thing. I was in a hotel because I was interviewing, sent there. I was not sleeping at the time, and that was my first, I would say, reality check, because when you will say, very difficult to someone, you will say, no, this person is not staying, that's a family that probably will have to move, and this person probably did not commit something but this is where you stand in front of sometimes hard economic realities of the business.
This was more of a transactional failure. Did you lose your job on that basis? Did you not have any money? Did you risk all your assets into something and then feel total despair? Because a lot of entrepreneurs actually do that. Or were you more of a corporate architect?
It's talking from the heart. I am not an entrepreneur. I never took the risk if we're talking an entrepreneur. Yes, I built things, and I'm very proud of, if you talk the Mobinil story, or even the US story, the Questel Orbit thing, and then the Mobinil and the Do stories are beautiful stories in my life. But I was never an entrepreneur that said, I'm intending to do this, I'm putting all my money if I fail, I never. I worked for large groups. I fought in these large groups.
Of course, yes, yeah.
I was always the black swan, so sometimes I was at the edge of, when I said, no, this vision is not the right one, and I was coming with that, when I said we need to go to Egypt and went to get it done, if we didn't succeed in getting Egypt, because I burned so many bridges, I would have lost my job. But no, I have not lost my job. Actually, one of my executives was talking with me. He said, did you, since my first interview to enter France Telecom, but I've never been in,
unemployed.
Getting the CV and people
Yeah.
I was interviewed by people who knew who I was, and for instance, when the founders of Do, the different representatives of the government, decided and made contact with me, they knew who was Osman, and I came. You don't come with the CV, but you come to see whether you would like the opportunity, they would like you as a person, they would think you are the right fit, etc.
Sure.
But I never been in looking for, maybe I consider myself privileged in that, and really, because I've never been in this situation. Okay. Have I been bankrupted, lost all my money? No, because I always try to work. I mean, I'm not good on the personal side, on the cost control. I'm ruthless on it. That's a paradox, one of the paradox of the person, if you want. The wisdom is try to make more money than your wife can spend. And with that, you will certainly figure out the equation.
Right. Now, you have won all sorts of awards. You won the top CEO recently, an innovation award, and so on. So you've got all the accolades, and so you get 100% benefit of those accolades. Do you take 100% responsibility for the companies that you run and the people that you manage for things that are not going right? Do you personally take 100% responsibility?
Yes.
And if it's not working...
And you should.
One should, absolutely. But it's really a question of taking that responsibility and then taking action based upon that. So, you know, things like, what do you need to fix in terms of where you are at the moment, in terms of taking responsibility?
Let me tell you something. I don't have a good split between my personal time and the business time. So you'd see me, I can't sleep at 2 o'clock, open and my email and looking. And I receive directly complaints from people, customer service. Although I tend to think that we progressed, but I am sure a lot of people think that we need to do more. And that sometimes makes me, so you will see me sending mails at 2 o'clock, at 3 o'clock, etc.
Scaring the hell out of your team.
Not scaring, saying,
you know,
I need to know.
Yes,
I need to know. I need to understand. Why are we having this? It goes that I ask sometimes to listen to some of the calls that happen on the, because, you know, for quality we monitor and for being able to take action.
Absolutely. I mean, you have issues of customer service, perhaps culture, perhaps bureaucracy. And those are the kinds of issues that you as a CEO need to...
and you cannot delegate. You cannot live out. You know, the only time I could maybe close my mobile, say I can close the mobile because I'm with the family or anything and I couldn't be reached, is the time before, you know, we started between the end of Mobinil when I just left and before the Do story started to be public, because I was kind of out of few months out of responsibility, because Do was not yet public, so once it became public, even if it was not launched, media could reach me, people could reach me, people that want to do business or start to open things, you become in the public domain. You don't own your time, and that's part of the job.
Yeah. To take a quote from Dr. Marshall Goldsmith, who's here, where one of his most recent bestsellers, New York Times bestsellers, is what got you here won't actually get you there. Have you ever referred to that book in some ways? Because I'm trying to move into the industry.
Absolutely.
And so whatever you've learned in the last 25 years in Trans Telecom and Mobinil is probably not going to leap you and take you into the future.
Totally agree. Totally. Got you there will not take you, what got you here will not take you there.
Right.
That's one thing. Today, I'm convinced that if we think even in the mindset of telecom, in this digital space, we will lose.
Yes, because that was actually my follow-on question, that you guys, the telecoms companies are being marginalized, they're becoming basically dumb pipes, and that's the big threat. And
we need to think differently because our brands are at the risk of becoming more and more irrelevant.
Yes.
European markets, we can see the brands vis-a-vis brands that, you know, started 16, 17 years ago, the first phase of the internet that I call the knowledge phase. We are putting knowledge in the water tank and we are developing tools to search, the search engines, the Google, the Yahoo, and then the things that that's one phase. We started to go to the internet like we go to the library, all of us. And don't tell me, no, you're too young to have known that. Of course, ladies, you are, but the others, don't convince me of that. So we started to go like we go to the library. Then we started to go to the internet like we go to a shop.
Yes.
The transactional phase, because I could buy tickets, buy my airline tickets, etc. Today, we go to the internet like we go in a cafe, because we want to sit, we want to see what others are saying, are chatting, who is there, who is not there, who is on this space. And this mindset is making Facebook 6, 7 years ago was not even there.
Yes. Yeah.
Today they're changing the face of the world. They change history in the Arab world. They change radically history.
Yeah.
So the process of change is changing as well. In a conference we were talking, and the speaker said, today a Maasai farmer in a remote area in Africa with a simple phone, has more communication capability than President Reagan 25 years ago when he was the president of the most powerful nation on earth. And if by accident he is having a smartphone, he has more access to knowledge than President Clinton 15 years ago when he was as well the president of the most powerful. So just imagine, we should just consider this, the empowerment that is now completely decentralized. And if we don't realize this paradigm shift, I will not be doing my job if I don't think differently, if I don't think out of this box.
It's interesting.
And my kids